I am going to do something a little different. Um, I'm very much an introvert, um, but I don't just examine myself. I examine my perspective and the world around me and the observations that I come to conclude. I like to put those down and, attempt to create a construct for my life or for my experience. And I'm just going to share some of those and then talk about them. One of those that I'll start with today is remember, your perspective was never my choice. A logical response is in no way indicative of an emotionless reaction. It is the result of discipline, discretion, and determination to continue forward progress in the midst of chaos. Our ascension is a relay race with no anchor. The move was and is always the goal. There is no end game, only the infinite. Hashtag legacy play. Now, as I read that back, there's so much that I was thinking about in that moment that is still relevant right now, but it's a lot. People listen to you speak, and it affects everyone differently. And I feel like in moments, sometimes there's a lack of thought and understanding when we're communicating with one another. I have a term that I like to use for myself is I want to be emotionally efficient. And simply put, that just means that I want to make sure that whatever emotion that I put forth is being used, expressed, exuded efficiently. I like to apply logic to my emotions. I like to understand why I feel the way I do, why I have the specific emotional response I have, and it helps me make a better decision and a better choice on how I choose to respond, emotionally and logically. I think that's what they call emotional intelligence. I'm not going to look it up to see if that's the definition, but to me, emotional efficiency, emotional intelligence, what I just described sound like they could be the same thing. And if they're not, feel like in putting something in the comments to clarify it or to challenge what I'm saying, feel free. But in those moments, I understand that it's my responsibility to take the time to actually think about what it is that I want to say, how I want to respond, and why I'm responding that way before I even open my mouth. And whether that's a response to something that was said to me, a response to something that I've seen or been exposed to, or before I even express a thought to a person unprovoked, or if I'm in a conversation, I take the time to actually think about what I'm saying before I say it. And when I wrote that little blurb, I guess you can call it, whatever, when I wrote that, it was a way of summarizing my process to people who may not understand that that's what it is that's happening, and maybe even to give a little light to my love that's coming behind me, my babies. You know, you have a responsibility to yourself before anyone else. It's your job to protect you. And it's not a protection thing always, so let me take that back. It's your job to have dominion over you. And the way you do that is not to justify everything that it is that you do because you're doing it, but to actually believe and stand on business. And you know, again, that's a hype term, but if you can stand up and back up everything you say in a very real, honest way, without ego, without being braggadocious or self-deprecating or sarcastic, if you can really just stand on your character, your morality, it goes a long way to feeling self-actuated. You know, it's hard for people to move you off your square when you've done the work to make sure that you're on it, because then no one can define you to you but you. Now that doesn't mean that no one can ever tell you about yourself. It just means that before you take someone else's evaluation of who you are and what you say and what you stand for as a person, that you're going to run it through honestly and either agree and disagree with a person's opinion about what you've said or how you've presented yourself. And this is a never-ending story. We'll never reach perfection as an individual, as a people. There is no pinnacle. It's a constant evolution, because as time marches on, the standards, the requirements, what's necessary to be and to have these standards of character and morality and just being about or being a stand-up, solid individual or group of people, you're constantly trying to evolve along with what's happening. You don't need to necessarily change your goals or guidelines. You don't have to put value in certain things now and change that for the future. It's more finding a way to implement your value system in a new way for a new time. Sometimes it does mean, you know, the evolution of your value system, the evolution of your thought process, becoming more aware of what it is that's going around you, and understanding that what you felt or what you thought or what you saw at one time, that point of view has expanded. You've been exposed to something else, and now you have a different perspective. That's authentic as well. But it has to be on your terms, or else it's not real. I found that who I am as a person, even to the ones that I love and care for the most, doesn't really it don't really hit all the time, and that's okay. Some moments like this that push me to be a better communicator, to be a better listener. Those are the spaces where I want to grow to be a better, more complete version of myself, so I can be satisfied with whatever it is that I'm doing, and allow myself the grace to say, okay, Keith, you've done your part. Now it's this person, it's this group, it's the world's job. You can't control how you are interpreted. If you've done the most that you can do to be as authentic and as clear and as honest as possible, that's it. And the rest is up to what you're or who you're communicating with. I'm always trying to progress. I'm always trying to do something different. I'm always trying to be more in tune with myself. Everything of value, I believe, starts within me. Everything I have to give to anybody or anything outside of me starts with me fine-tuning me. There is a level of self-centeredness that comes along with this. There's a level of selfishness that comes along with this. Not selfish like I only care about me, but I can only work on me. I can only do what I believe is best for me. Now, in that, doing what's best for me will lead me to doing what's best for those around me, because they are part of me. They are an extension of me. Who I am as a person and the best qualities of that will lead me to doing things outside of myself. But it has to originate within me. That's how I safeguard me, and that's how I make sure that I express myself authentically, and then I protect myself authentically as well. I don't overextend myself, because when you start to do things because or for someone else, when I don't do things for reciprocity. And that's what you need when you're doing something simply for someone else. When you're doing something for someone else because it makes you feel good, you've already got the return. You got the return as soon as you started to put your effort and your energy into whatever it is that you're sharing. Because you're doing it for you. You're doing it for yourself. And it just happens to benefit those around you. So yeah, I don't know, I don't necessarily call these episodes, but I would like to say that this whole foray into this type of expression, I'm doing it for me. And I love any support that I get from anyone. Any critiques that I get, anything that I get from this content that I'm choosing to create, I'm thankful for. But know that this is for me first. I'm happy and ecstatic about what it could do to the loves of my life, and then anyone else affiliated, anybody else who chooses to take part in it and become aware of it and participate in it. But I'm served, because every time I put pen to paper, I put voice to microphone, that I examine my thoughts, that I delve deeper into what makes me me, I'm winning. And I feel like that's how everyone in this world could win too. And then by extension, how the world wins. If you love yourself so much that it makes you feel so good that you want others to love themselves the same way that you love you, it's difficult to meet real, genuine love and joy with anything but real, genuine love and joy. Like, it takes effort to be hateful. Like, you gotta try. It's a stressor. Like, real love, even, love will make work and tasks seem like gifts. Not that you won't feel like you're putting in effort. Work is work. But when you're doing it out of the love, you feel so good. But we'll leave that for another time. Bye.